Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour, India hosts an international conference on disaster-resilient infrastructure. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for more investment. Campaigning for Phase 2 of India's election to end on Wednesday. 88 parliamentary constituencies in 13 states will go to the polls on Friday. A leader of the opposition Congress party courts controversy by advocating an inheritance tax in India. The ruling BJP hits back, says Congress wants to destroy the country. US lawmakers vote to ban TikTok in the country if its Chinese owner does not sell the app. US President Joe Biden to sign it into law on Wednesday. And Israel steps up strikes across Gaza. UN and the US say reports of mass graves are troubling. Israel calls them baseless and unfounded. A two-day international conference on disaster-resilient infrastructure began in New Delhi on Wednesday. The conference serves as a premier gathering of the Coalition for Disaster-Resilient Infrastructure, or CDRI, an international body established by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
His background in diplomacy and
International Conference on Disaster-Resilient Infrastructure, ICDRI, opened on Wednesday at the Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. The ICDRI is the flagship event of the Coalition for Disaster-Resilient Infrastructure, an international organization launched by Prime Minister of India in 2019. Inaugurating the event virtually, Prime Minister Narendra Modi highlighted that damages to infrastructure system caused by disasters are reported in dollars, but the true impact is felt by people and communities.
We must invest in resilient infrastructure today for better tomorrow. Resilience needs to be factored into new infrastructure creation. Further, it also needs to be a part of post-disaster rebuilding.
Prime Minister also congratulated CDRI on its rapid growth since 2019 and its programs which are supporting the development of resilient infrastructure, including across 13 small island developing states. CDRI currently has 46 members. The theme of ICDRI 2024 is Investing Today for a More Resilient Tomorrow.
To achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, to reach net zero and strengthen resilience by 2050 amounts to $9.2 trillion. If we do not design resilience into our project pipelines, it will be increasingly difficult to achieve the high levels of funding needed to close the infrastructure deficit, particularly in the global south.
The two-day event that brings together governments, the global infrastructure community, multilateral development banks, the private sector to support the development of disaster-resilient infrastructure. Taposh Bhattacharya's report, DD India.
The chair of the Indian Overseas Congress, Sam Pitroda, has courted controversy by advocating an inheritance tax for India. He has backed the Congress party's stand on redistribution of wealth. Pitroda cited the precedence of inheritance tax in the US. He said that the subject of wealth distribution is strictly a policy issue. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP have criticized the Congress manifesto, saying that the poll document smacks of appeasement and that if it came to power, it would redistribute people's wealth and give reservation to the Muslims from the quota for SC, ST and OBC communities.
In America, there is an inheritance tax. So if, let's say, one has $100 million worth of wealth. And when he dies, he can only transfer probably 45% to his children. 55% is grabbed by government. In India, you don't have that. So these are the kind of issues people will have to debate. When we talk about redistributing wealth, we are talking about new policies, new programs that are in the interest of the people and not in the interest of super rich only.
Meanwhile, the ruling BJP has reacted sharply to the statements of Pitroda. The national in charge of the BJP's IT department, Amit Malviya, tweeted to register his anguish at the statement. In his post on X, Amit Malviya said, and I quote, "Congress has decided to destroy India. Now, Sam Pitroda advocates 50% inheritance tax for wealth redistribution. This means 50% of whatever we build with all our hard work and enterprise will be taken away. 50% besides all the tax we pay, which too will go up if the Congress prevails," unquote. In a press briefing in Kerala, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said that the party has no intention of implementing any such unconstitutional tax law.
How can there is a constitution and constitution never allows to do this, and we are not we don't have any intention. Why you are putting his ideas in our mouth? Why you are propagating?
All right, let's now get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. India's 88 parliamentary constituencies across 13 states will go to the polls in the second phase of voting on 26th April. Campaigning will end on Wednesday. India's Prime Minister and BJP leader Narendra Modi held an election rally in the central state of Chhattisgarh. He said that if India becomes self-reliant, some forces will be put out of business.
आप देखिए, अभी कोई ज्यादा समय नहीं हुआ है, बहुत कम समय हुआ है, लेकिन इन्होंने इतने कम समय में रॉकेट की गति से सरकार चलाई है। धान किसानों को दी गारंटी, पूरी कर दी। अब तेंदुपत्ता संग्राहकों को भी ज्यादा पैसा मिल रहा है। तेंदुपत्ता खरीद भी तेजी से हो रही है। यहां की माताओं बहनों को महतारी वंदन योजना से भी लाभ हुआ है।
Later in the day, the Prime Minister will campaign in another central state of Madhya Pradesh, where he will hold back-to-back 3 public rallies in the state. Home Minister Amit Shah also campaigned in Kerala and will address a rally in Maharashtra. Later in the day, he will visit the spiritual capital of India, Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh, for a review of the party's election preparations. Another minister, Anurag Thakur, slammed the Congress over multiple scams done by the opposition during its tenure.
आज देश के सामने बड़ा सवाल खड़ा होता है कि ये तुष्टीकरण करने वाले लोग, सीमाओं की सुरक्षा के साथ समझौता करने वाले लोग, क्या ये देश का भविष्य सुरक्षित रख सकते हैं? जिन्होंने जीप घोटाले से लेके, बोफोर्स घोटाले से लेके, अगुस्ता वेस्टलैंड और सबमरीन घोटाले तो घोटाले ही किए हो, जिनका इतिहास भ्रष्टाचार का हो, वसूली का हो, और अब आपकी संपत्ति को भी वसूलने का काम आपकी मौत के बाद भी करना सुनिश्चित राहुल गांधी जी करेंगे।
Senior BJP leader and party president JP Nadda also held a public rally at Bhagalpur in Bihar. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi addressed a public rally in the western state of Maharashtra, whereas the party president Mallikarjun Kharge also held a public rally in Karnataka. Biju Janata Dal President and Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik has begun his election campaign from the Hinjali Assembly constituency and addressed a huge gathering there. Meanwhile, Bharat Rashtra Samiti President K. Chandrasekhar Rao will also hold an election campaign in Telangana's Nalgonda. And KP Nanjundi, the BJP MLC who resigned from the party on Tuesday, joined the Congress in the presence of Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar in Bengaluru. Congress leader Priyanka Gandhi addressed a rally at Kamlakad in Kerala. She urged the voters to make a wise decision while casting their vote.
This vote makes the future. It makes your country strong. It makes you choose for the next 5 years who is going to be in government, how that government is going to work, and what your future is going to look like.
Right, joining me from the ground is our full complement of reporters who are covering every state election and every key constituency spread across the length and breadth of the country. Joining me from Bhagalpur in Bihar is my colleague Dibyundu Mondal. Mark Lind joins us from Darjeeling in West Bengal. Aisha Khanam from Bengaluru in Karnataka, and Akshay Dongre, who is standing by in Gautam Buddha Nagar in Uttar Pradesh. Let me come to you first, Dibyundu. Give us a flavor of the campaigning in Bhagalpur.
Well, Ramesh, of course, we are less than 24 hours away from the mute period to begin. So we have a lineup of campaigns that's happening. In Bhagalpur today, we have JP Nadda of the BJP's national president, who is about to arrive in Bhagalpur in a short while from now and campaign for the JDU's candidate here in Bhagalpur. While on the other hand, the RJD's top leader, Tejasvi Yadav, is about to hold a road show parallelly in a short while from now in the city of Bhagalpur, campaigning for the Congress's candidate Ajit Sharma, who is also the father of a popular Bollywood actress Neha Sharma. So she was also campaigning here in Bhagalpur yesterday. She will also be campaigning here today along with Tejasvi Yadav and her father Ajit Sharma. This particular constituency had been a bastion of the Congress for a very long time, which was breached in 2014 by the Modi juggernaut. But of course, this time around, people here say that it will be a tough contest for both the for the BJP's alliance, JDU, as well as the Congress, who's giving a tough fight. Remember, Ajit Sharma, the Congress candidate from here, is a sitting member of the Legislative Assembly of Bihar. So of course, the fight here is tough. The leaders are giving a last push before the mute period begins at about 5:36 p.m. this evening. So of course, a plethora of top leaderships of both the Congress, the RJD, the JDU and the BJP on ground campaigning for their candidates before the silence period begins. Back to you, Ramesh.
All right, from Bhagalpur, let me hop across down south to Bengaluru in Karnataka, where my colleague Aisha Khanam is standing by. Aisha, which are some of the key contests to watch out for?
Well, the contest in Bangalore is, most focused upon, and this is a star constituency as such, because Bangalore has 3 Lok Sabha seats, Bangalore Central, Bangalore North and Bangalore South. And the BJP is vying for a repeat performance of winning this seat continuously for the 3rd time. And also the Bangalore Rural is another constituency where D.K. Shivkumar's brother D.K. Suresh is contesting against the BJP candidate Dr. C.N. Manjunath. Now, Dr. C.N. Manjunath is making a debut in his political career because he has just retired as a director of a cardiology institute. And here, this doctor is giving a tough fight to D.K. Suresh, who is seen as, a veteran in the Congress as such. So this is very important seat in Bangalore Rural. And also the fight in Mysore is interesting because the titular king Yaduvir Vadeyar is contesting for the first time. He is giving a tough fight to the Congress candidate R. Lakshman. And here it is Siddaramaya's home turf. And this is a prestigious battle for Siddaramaya as such. It is not just Congress versus BJP, but this battle has turned into Siddaramaya versus Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Because for Siddaramaya, winning this Mysore seat is important, because if he loses this seat, there will be a kind of rebellion from within the party for the change of leadership, and also there could be pressure on him to leave the chief ministership to DK Shiv Kumar. So Chief Minister Siddaramaya is contesting on behalf of the candidate, and he says that every vote given for Congress is a vote for himself. So this is a kind of contest, this is a kind of campaigning, intense campaigning that we saw in the last few days, and today also Siddaramaya is campaigning in other seats, and also DK Shiv Kumar is campaigning, and the BJP is confident about the fact that out of the 28 seats, they are winning about 25 to 26 seats. Remember 2019, the BJP has won 25 seats here, so a lot is at stake for the Congress and for the BJP.
Absolutely. Right, from the plains of Bengaluru, let me now take you to the hills of Darjeeling in West Bengal, where Mark Lynn is standing by. Mark, what are the key issues before the voters in Darjeeling? What have you seen and heard during your travels in Darjeeling?
Well, Ramesh, let me just give you an update that, some of the polling teams have already left to remote areas for the polling, to set up polling stations, because they have to travel some distance, and in, hilly areas it takes a little longer. From 5 o'clock today, the silent period starts, where the international borders will be closed. And then people will be thinking about these issues that they've talked to me about. Largely, it is about development. Now, development can mean various things for various people. For some, it means better jobs, a future that is more secure. For others, it is more to do with identity. The large number of people in Darjeeling belong to the Gorkha community, and they have often felt that their identity is not being well respected, in the sense that they do not become, a sort of a subset of West Bengal. They believe that they have a unique identity of their own. They have unique languages besides Nepali. They speak their own tribal languages. And as such, they want that identity to be recognized. There has, of course, been a Gorkha territorial council that has been set up, but it still comes under the administration of the West Bengal government. So they're looking for a little more autonomy, and as a result of that, they tend to vote in a particular way for a party that they believe will give them this. Hence, the Darjeeling constituency is largely driven by this particular underlying identity politics that seems to drive voters in a particular direction. Ramesh.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Mark Lynn in Darjeeling in West Bengal, Aisha Khanam in Bengaluru, and Debyendu Mondal in Bhagalpur, Bihar. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And still to come on DD India News Hour. US Senate approves a $95 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. The US and Russia set to face off over nuclear weapons in space at the United Nations Security Council. And two UN High Commissioners call on the UK government to reconsider its plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. In a move that had an overwhelming bipartisan support, the U.S. Senate has approved a $95 billion foreign aid package, which includes military support for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan. The Senate approved by 79 to 18 four bills passed by the House of Representatives on Saturday. The four bills were combined into one package in the Senate, which President Joe Biden would sign into law on Wednesday. The package has allotted $61 billion for Ukraine, $26 billion for Israel, and more than $8 billion to the U.S. allies in the Indo-Pacific.
Putin escalated his war against Ukraine. I told our colleagues that allies and adversaries alike would pay very close attention to America's response. When Iran-backed terrorists invaded the Jewish state on October 7th to slaughter innocent Israelis, I warned that the world would watch closely for signs that American leadership was actually weakening. For months, our friends have watched to see whether America still had the strength that won the Cold War or the resolve that has underpinned peace and prosperity literally for decades.
Right, joining me from Tel Aviv is my colleague Sarah Coates. Sarah, does Israel have reason to be satisfied with the U.S. aid? What's in it really for Israel?
Hello there, Ramesh. We have heard from Israel's Foreign Minister, Israel Katz. He came out to thank lawmakers for their, quote, unwavering commitment to Israel's security, saying that the Israel-US strategic partnership is unbreakable. Now, I'll break down this package a little for you. $17 billion in wartime assistance for Israel. $4 billion of that will be going towards things like the Iron Dome missile defense system to replenish these systems amid these real ongoing attacks from Israel's proxies. Now, another $13 billion has been earmarked for defensive objectives. Well, we can expect some $9 billion to go to humanitarian efforts in Gaza, but here's the point, other war-torn areas. So this is not all going to Gaza, Ramesh. Analysts predict some $2 million of that $9 billion will be going to the Palestinian enclave. Now, there are concerns, of course, among those who did not support this package that this money that's going to Israel may actually then give Israel the boost it needs to go down into that southern city of Rafah, which of course is the cause of a lot of international concern and also an area where more than 1.3 million internally displaced people are sheltering, and an area that Israel says it will go into to defeat the last 4 Hamas battalions.
Also, Sarah, what more can you tell us about the latest Israeli strikes across Gaza?
We do have an operational update. The Israeli military says that over the last 24 hours, it has hit 50 targets across the entirety of the Strip. These are Hamas launch sites, tunnel shafts and other military infrastructure. Now, we do know that there have been airstrikes already down in that southern city of Rafah. And we're hearing now, Ramesh, that the army has intensified operations in the northern part of the Strip, with a number of military analysts, experts coming out to say that they believe now that thousands more Palestinian fighters, including from Palestinian Islamic Jihad, have now regrouped in the northern part of the Strip, an area that was previously cleared by the Israel Defense Forces. Now, reports from the ground also say that Israeli forces attacking the city of Beit Lahia, and this is giving people very little time to leave. Civilians on the ground say that they've been given some 5 minutes to leave their homes before heavy artillery shelling. And just in the last few minutes, I have had a report come in to say that the IDF is now deploying 2 extra battalions of reservists back into Gaza after previously pulling them out. So what this could really signal is that more intensified operations could be around the corner.
Right, Sarah, thank you. Sarah Coates reporting there from Tel Aviv. And shifting focus to the Indo-Pacific now, China has resolutely opposed the inclusion of Taiwan-related content in a 4-bill package passed by the US Congress. China's Taiwan Affairs Office urged the US not to support Taiwan independence with concrete actions and to stop arming Taiwan in any way.
The Taiwan issue is purely China's internal affair and does not tolerate any external interference. The relevant bill in the US Congress includes Taiwan-related content, seriously violates the One China principle. We resolutely oppose it. We urge the United States to take concrete actions to honor its commitment not to support Taiwan independence and stop arming Taiwan in any way.
Right, Laura Westbrook now joins us from Hong Kong. Laura, what's in it for Taiwan? Also, does it signal to the Indo-Pacific and the world at large that the US remains very much invested in Taiwan?
Yes, I think it does. I mean, this package has been welcomed by Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen. And this package does include arms support for Taiwan. It includes a wide range of arms services that are aimed at upgrading and maintaining Taiwanese military hardware. This has also been welcomed by Taiwan President-elect William Lai. He is set to be inaugurated next month. And he has said that this sends a signal of deterrence against authoritarianism in the West Pacific. Clearly that is aimed at China. Now, over the last 4 years, Taiwan has complained about Chinese warplanes and warships flying close to the island nation in increasing military activity near the island nation. And as we've heard there from the Beijing spokesman, they really have reacted angrily to this. They say that it sends the wrong signal to pro-independent separatist forces. Beijing considers Taiwan part of its own, and it has not ruled out claiming Taiwan by force if necessary one day.
And talking about China, Laura, how will the proposed US ban on TikTok affect the US-China ties? Has the Chinese owner, ByteDance, reacted yet?
Yes, the timing of this is quite interesting. We have just heard from the Global Times, a state-run newspaper, that Antony Blinken, the US Secretary of State, has landed in Shanghai. He is there in China for a 3-day visit. He will meet business leaders on Thursday and then head to Beijing, where he will meet China's top diplomat Wang Yi, as well as an expected meeting with Xi Jinping. So this is likely to come up in those discussions, which are going to be a wide range of discussions, including issues like the Middle East conflict, as well as the South China Sea. Now, we haven't had an immediate reaction from ByteDance, but for the US, this bill got bipartisan support from US senators who are worried about how this data might be used, especially when it comes to young Americans. Some 170 million users are on TikTok. TikTok has repeatedly refuted those claims, saying that it has not and will not provide foreign user data to the Chinese government. And also, ByteDance will need, once this bill goes to US President Biden, who has said that he will sign it, then ByteDance will have 9 months to sell the app. And it also needs approval from Chinese officials. And Beijing has said that it will not, has vowed to oppose that as well. So really a long road ahead when it comes to this TikTok ban. We'll have to wait and see.
All right, Laura, thank you. That was Laura Westbrook reporting there from Hong Kong. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India's President Draupadi Murmu presides over a convocation ceremony of a Forest Service Training Institute. India's cybersecurity industry makes an impact at a conference in Dubai. And a short film titled Sunflowers Were the First Ones to Know from India selected to compete at the Cannes Film Festival.
Wherever news breaks, whatever it takes.
Connecting corners, cutting across continents.
Stories that matter from across the globe.
Accurate, authentic journalism that serves you right. From politics to glamour, from sports to world affairs, with a fusion of aesthetics and substance. Introducing news in a new avatar. Experience the world through a new lens. Stay tuned to DD India for an exciting journey beyond borders.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. India hosts an international conference on disaster-resilient infrastructure. Prime Minister Narendra Modi calls for more investments. A leader of the opposition Congress party courts controversy by advocating an inheritance tax in India. The ruling BJP hits back, says the Congress wants to destroy the country. And US lawmakers vote to ban TikTok in the country if its Chinese owner does not sell the app. US President Joe Biden to sign it into law on Wednesday. All right, going back to the top story, India hosts an international conference on disaster-resilient infrastructure. Prime Minister Modi calls for more investments because disasters are causing widespread impact in an interconnected world. A quick word about the Coalition for Disaster-Resilient Infrastructure, or the CDRI. The CDRI was first proposed by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the 2016 Asian Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction held at New Delhi. PM Modi launched it at the 2019 UN Climate Action Summit. The CDRI is headquartered in New Delhi and it has 39 countries and 7 organizations as its member. Right, joining me for more on this conference and related subjects is Professor Santos Kumar. He's an expert in disaster management. Professor Kumar, welcome to DD India News Up. To begin with, what can you tell us about the 6th edition of the International Conference on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure being hosted by India now as we speak?
This is very important and to be complimented because that India has taken the drive. And the G20 was where that India took the lead. Special task force was constituted. Special group deliberations went on, and then recommendations came. And all the country agreed and actually accepted the recommendations of the G20 member countries, which was hosted by CDRI. So this kind of a conference actually making awareness, executing some projects, demonstrating some projects, that infrastructure which is being impacted severely when it comes to disaster. Life lost was a concern, but gradually the disaster mortality is being controlled by different devices, early warning system, and so on and so forth. But the infrastructure remains such a biggest concern. So here that India is taking lead and already taken lead in terms of the setting of the CDRI. 39 countries already joined the membership with 7 institutions, World Bank, ADB and others, USAID. But the idea is to how to propagate and take this for an Honorable Prime Minister has made an appeal that making investment in pre-disaster for actually building resilience in the infrastructure and making more and more investments. Every country, the South, especially the South-South cooperation when we are talking about, its vulnerability is multiplying due to climate change, and that also that requirement is that development has to go.
Absolutely.
So how both will coexist, and that is the only solution if we make investment in infrastructure.
Indeed.
So, so that is why this is that very, very crucial kind of this coalition, and coalition is really propagating and been high acceptance amongst the member countries.
Professor Kumar, what you said just now gives me a perfect segue to my next question to you. How do you view the growth of the CDRI since its inception in 2019?
Yeah, I would say in a very short time, it's we can say where you are making investment, making people together, and all this is a kind of a consensus building kind of exercise. So I would say is a phenomenon, which in a very small span of time, joining 39 members is not easy. The second is also just not joining the members, but also having these projects elsewhere. It's not that the CDRI is demonstrating some project in the small island countries. So it is very, very interesting to see that how it is progressing, and it's also helping the Indian knowledge base, enhancing whenever such kind of conferences happens. Like this morning, I was also there in the meeting, CDRI meeting. And most of the delegates who have come from across the globe, they are constantly mentioning that this is really helping them to get the good knowledge and taking it forward for the execution. So this initiative of India is remarkable. And I would say supplementary to this, the national initiative in terms of 15th Finance Commission, which is giving shape to the investment, the availability of budgetary this funding for the states. They can also plan for that, and for investment in the DRR, disaster risk reduction. So both are combined. National level,
Right.
15th Finance Commission is actually strengthening the investment in infrastructure.
Mhm.
And also outside the country, CDRI is leading that flag. So what I would say that India is leading both ways. The states are also getting together, coming together, and internationally, the national, international, the different nations are coming together. So I would say this is a wonderful initiative, especially when the cause comes to the disaster management and the challenges of climate change is looming
Right.
large. So in this context, it's a forewarning which Honorable Prime Minister is saying that make investment for making infrastructure resilient. And if we wish to get the dividend of this investment which we are making, we have to have resilient
Absolutely.
infrastructure.
Indeed.
Right.
Professor Kumar, I want to
Indeed.
go back to what the PM said in his remarks to the conference just a few hours ago. PM Modi spoke about the need for investments in resilient infrastructure. He said in his address to the conference that 1, the world can be resilient collectively only when each country is resilient individually, and 2, to achieve shared resilience, we must support the most vulnerable. What kind of investments are called for and where?
Like when we plan for any projects, like suppose I give you the example of that CDRI is making its investment in the small island countries. There it has been realized, the risk has been quantified in terms of that if sea level is rising, the small island country would be affected first. So how that small island country can be, their infrastructure, their people can be made resilient. So CDRI is helping in a way that to have this kind of initiative, when they are planning and the DPR is framed for major investment, whether in roads and bridges, power sector, or for that matter, any other critical infrastructure. There we have to identify the exposure of risk of that area and the infrastructure which we are planning for. So how that inbuilt resilience can be factored into the planning of the project itself, so that when it is built, it should be there, withstand with the kind of impact of disaster. So it's a mainstreaming, a disaster risk reduction in the which we say the DPR, detailed project report, which we are making for any investment in the infrastructure. So we can say as a disaster auditing or the risk auditing of the area or planning when we are making investments.
Right.
So when the CDRI is making investment, trying to identify the most vulnerabilities, the most vulnerable countries, and they can work together, and the expertise of each country can also be brought in together to help that country. So this is one is the technical support, and also is the kind of infrastructure integration of mainstreaming of disaster risk reduction. This is the model which is being there.
All right, we leave it at that. Professor Santosh Kumar, thank you so much
I would
for joining us and
I would say
sharing
one point,
Yeah, please.
if you agree, just very quickly.
Very quickly, yes, please.
The beauty of this, that the financial tools which actually are determining the growth. So financial tools are also being brought in the purview of disaster risk management,
Right.
and seeing that how financial institution can also gear up for funding making project resilience, and that factor into as a kind of a lending process. So this is also a very important kind of initiative. Thank you so much.
Professor Kumar, thank you once again for joining us and sharing your thoughts and insights with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Moving on, the CEO of JP Morgan Chase and Company, Jamie Dimon, has lauded India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his achievements in the country. Speaking at a webinar organized by the Economic Club of New York, the official highlighted Prime Minister Modi's unbelievable job in uplifting India. Praising the reforms by the current government in the recent past, he noted that India has an unbelievable education system and unbelievable infrastructure as well.
Modi has done an unbelievable job in India. I mean, literally, and I know, the liberal press here, they beat the hell out of him. He's taken 400 million people out of poverty. When we go lecture Modi about, when they want trade with us, but we lecture literally. I go to these countries soon after a lot of our government officials there. It's like we're fantasizing about, climate and labor and how we think they should be running their country. He has 400 million people without toilets. Really? And we're lecturing them how to do things? They put in this unbelievable, every citizen by hand or by eyeball or by finger is recognized. They open bank accounts for 700 million people. The transfer payments are going through. They've got an unbelievable education system, unbelievable infrastructure. They're lifting up that whole country because this one man is just, he's tough. But I think you have to be tough to break that down, and he's breaking down some of the bureaucracy. They have, I think it's 29 states or something like that, but they all had completely different, it's almost like Europe, they have completely different tax systems, which leads to enormous corruption. He's breaking all that stuff down. And so, yeah, there are examples of people who have just turned these things around, and we need a little bit more of that here.
And talking about India, India's cybersecurity industry is making an impact at the GISEC 2024 conference in Dubai. The Data Security Council of India has brought together 22 Indian companies to showcase the nation's growing expertise in this critical field. Now, this participation underscores India's remarkable progress in cybersecurity, fueled by a surge in startups supported by both government and industry alike. Atul Kumar from Data Security Council of India emphasized how these efforts have resulted in a significant increased international markets.
From last year, where we had 11 companies from India, we have doubled the count, and we are showcasing the prowess of cybersecurity capabilities from the country. We have more than 350 cybersecurity product companies in India. These companies are leveraging the advanced technology stacks like quantum, big data, artificial intelligence, and so on and so forth as core of their cybersecurity products. Another thing, from a global market perspective, these companies are serving across the globe, or more than 50% of the revenue is coming from outside India.
In some more news from India, the country's President Draupadi Murmu participated in a convocation ceremony of a Forest Service Training Institute under the Ministry of Environment and Forests of India, the Indira Gandhi National Forest Academy in Dehradun, where she congratulated the 2024 batch and emphasized on the importance of forests.
मैं इंडियन फॉरेस्ट सर्विस के 2022 बैच के सभी प्रशिक्षु अधिकारियों को बहुत बहुत बधाई देती हूँ। जंगलों के महत्व को जानबूझकर भुलाने की गलती मानव समाज कर रही है। जंगलों ने ही धरती पर जीवन को बचा रखा है। आपके पास जंगलों के संरक्षण, संवर्धन एवं पोषण की जिम्मेदारी है। मुझे पूर्ण विश्वास है कि आप अपने इस अप्रतिम दायित्व के प्रति सजग और सचेत होंगे एवं पूर्ण निष्ठा से अपने उत्तरदायित्व का निर्वहन करेंगे।
President Murmu would also inaugurate the virtual tour of the Raj Bhavan in India's Dehradun city. Today is the last day of President Draupadi Murmu's visit to Uttarakhand. Now, ahead of the United Nations conclave on digital public infrastructure in New York City, India's permanent representative to the United Nations, Ruchira Kamboj, highlighted how the country's digital-first approach can push for an inclusive growth. In an op-ed published by an Indian newspaper, Ambassador Kamboj says that India's investment in digital public infrastructure, which enabled cashless transaction and seamless service delivery, has enhanced livelihoods. The ambassador also highlighted that India's tax revenue to GDP ratio has increased from 8.2% to 17.1% as digital payments reduce leakages in government transfers. She said that India's use of digital tools to promote equity reflects its dedication to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Addressing the Year of Technology Absorption Empowering the Soldier seminar in New Delhi, India's Army Chief General Manoj Pandey stressed on self-reliance in defence.
The Indian Army stands committed to achieve its capability development and sustenance needs through Atmanirbharta. Modernization and technology infusion forms one of the 5 pillars of the transformation roadmap which we had put into effect almost 2 years ago. Apart from weapon systems and equipment, we are also pursuing 45 niche technologies which have been identified for military application. 120 indigenous projects are underway to develop and absorb these niche technologies. Now, these span across multiple routes of innovation, incubation, and development.
In a step towards further strengthening bilateral cooperation, knowledge sharing and capacity development between the two institutions, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India, Girish Chandra Murmu, visited the office of the Court of Accounts of Spain. During his visit, the official held discussions with the President of the Court of Accounts, Enrique Chicano, on organizational structure, audit planning and execution methodologies, institutional independence and recent initiatives undertaken by both institutions. The nondescript hamlet of Pali in India's Jammu and Kashmir's border district of Samba has become the country's first carbon-neutral panchayat. The people of this panchayat are playing an important role in changing the image of not only themselves but also of other panchayats. With the construction of rural self-reliant villages, a new story of development is being written. Take a look at the next report.
On April 24, 2022, a 500 kilowatt solar plant was inaugurated at Pali Panchayat in Samba district of India's Union Territory, Jammu and Kashmir. With this, Pali became India's first carbon-neutral panchayat fully powered by solar energy. The solar plant, installed in the village under Gram Ujala Swaraj program, is spread over an area of 6,000 square meters and provides clean electricity to 340 houses.
जहाँ पे बिजली अभी 20 घंटे बिजली रहती है, जितनी सर्विस है ऑनलाइन जो भी 200 के करीब सर्विस है वो जहाँ पे लोगों को फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट मिल रही है.
The electricity generated is being distributed to the village, having a daily requirement of 2,000 units through local power grid station. The installation of solar plant has changed the lives of people in Pali, and development has gained momentum in the village following the electrification.
हमारे गांव के अंदर आप मानोगे कि 2022 के अंदर पानी जल जीवन मिशन जो प्रधानमंत्री जी की स्कीम थी उसके माध्यम से जहां पे पानी मिला.
पंचायती राज बनने से हमें बहुत फायदा हुआ मैडम जी. जैसे हमारे गांव की सब गलियां जल जीवन पे घर घर में पाइप लगी है पानी के लिए. पहले एक कनेक्शन लेने के लिए हमें बहुत कुछ करना पड़ता था.
जब हम फसल पैदाश करते थे तो हमारे बीज के लिए पैसे नहीं होते, खाद के लिए पैसे नहीं होते थे, तो हमारा बीज भी कभी लेट हो जाता था तो फसल टाइम की नहीं भी बोई जाती. अब हमारे खाते में प्रधानमंत्री ने 6,000 रुपया डाला है.
The electricity via the solar plant has specially helped the farmers and students in the village. It has aided the farmers by improving the village's irrigation system.
न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी मिल रही है ना, उससे बहुत सारा फायदा हो रहा है. जैसे कि एग्रीकल्चर में आजकल ड्रोन सिस्टम आ गया स्प्रेज के लिए, क्योंकि पहले तो हम दूसरी तरह ही करते थे.
जैसे गलियों की समस्या काफी थी, रोड की समस्या थी. ये पंचायत घर था, यहाँ पे कभी बैठने का मन नहीं करता था. आज बच्चे आते हैं यहाँ पे, अभी थोड़ा टाइम नहीं हुआ, 2 घंटे के बाद बच्चे आएंगे। फिर आप देखें हमारे गांव की माताएं भी आती हैं, बहनें भी आती हैं, जहाँ एक्सरसाइज करती हैं। ये इस सराउंडिंग के आसपास में 2-3 चक्कर लगाने के बाद फिर वो चले जाते हैं।
The objective of the Panchayati Raj is to develop local self-governments in districts, zones and villages. The implementation of Panchayati Raj in Pali has transformed lives in Jammu and Kashmir as developmental schemes have penetrated deep into the social community, has penetrated deep into the social structure. Amit Mukherjee for DD India.
And now take a look at what else is making news in India. The Film and Television Institute of India's student film, Sunflowers Were the First Ones to Know, has been selected to compete at the prestigious 77th Cannes Film Festival. The film is the only Indian film among 18 shots selected from 2,263 entries by film schools all over the world. The 2024 Cannes Film Festival will be held in France from the 15th of May. An encounter broke out between terrorists and security forces in the Renji forest area of Jammu and Kashmir's Bandipur on Wednesday. Security forces launched an operation in the area after receiving input of a terrorist hideout. Search operation is currently underway. New Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court on Wednesday has again extended the judicial custody of former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Toodias till 7th of May in a CBI case. Earlier on Saturday, the court had reserved its verdict on Toodias' application in the cases registered regarding the now scrapped Delhi Excise Policy 21-22. In sports news, India's cricket icon Sachin Tendulkar turns 51 on Wednesday. Revered as the god of cricket, Tendulkar retired from the sport 11 years ago, and yet his influence and legacy continue to flourish. Take a look at his legacy over the years.
Born on 24th April 1973 in Mumbai, India's batting legend Sachin Tendulkar is celebrating his 51st birthday today. The Little Master made his international debut in 1989 against Pakistan at the age of 16. His journey in international cricket started on 15th November 1989 in Karachi and continued for 24 long years. Sachin fulfilled his dream of winning the World Cup in 2011 under the captaincy of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. In his international career spanning more than 2 decades, the god of cricket broke records, set new milestones and scaled unprecedented heights. Sachin Tendulkar became the youngest player to make his debut for Team India in Tests and ODIs. When Sachin joined the Yorkshire cricket team in 1992, he became the first overseas player to represent a country club. The Master Blaster has played the most number of matches in international cricket. He has represented India in 664 matches across all formats. Sachin Tendulkar has registered a record total of 34,357 runs. He holds the record for most runs in one-day internationals, Test and international cricket. The 51-year-old has played the most number of matches in World Cups as well as scored the most runs overall in a multi-nation tournament. He also holds the record for most appearances in both Test and one-day internationals. Sachin Tendulkar was the first batsman ever to score a double century in one-day international. He is also the first and the only batsman in India to score 100 international centuries. India's Little Master is the youngest player to be honoured with India's highest civilian honour, the Bharat Ratna. Sachin Tendulkar was inducted into the ICC Hall of Fame in 2019. Even after 11 years of his retirement, the god of cricket continues to give his 100% and inspire millions. In his recent visit to Kashmir, Sachin Tendulkar enjoyed precious moments in the streets of J&K. The Master Blaster is an inspiration for millions of Indians. Sachin Tendulkar retired from international cricket in 2013, but his legacy stays in the hearts of millions of cricket fans. Sports Desk, DD India.
Indian golfers Aditi Ashok and Diksha Dagar are set to take part in the 2024 Paris Olympics. Aditi will compete for the third time at the Olympics, which is also the most for an Indian, while Diksha will make her second appearance at the marquee event. The Olympic entries are sent by the Indian Golf Union. Delhi Capitals will go head-to-head against Gujarat Titans in the 40th match of the ongoing Indian Premier League 2024 on Wednesday. The last time these two sides met, Delhi humbled the visitors in Ahmedabad. The loss dented the net run rate of Gujarat Titans massively. While it is not a do-or-die game for the sides, a win or loss today might determine the path their campaigns will take from here on. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India News Up. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screens now to download it. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and Instagram. You can also check out our website ddindia.co.in. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. and Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.